Your house is worth whatever it's worth, right? Whoever sells it. Wrong. I'm Charlie. Welcome to Moving Home with Charlie, and thank you for coming.
Charlie Lambdin grew up in Sussex, is the founder of BestAgent and presenter of Moving Home with Charlie.
If you want to find one of these guys, look out for those compassionate professionals. All estate agents are not the same.
So Charlie, what would be your advice for people interested in buying new builds right now?
Don't overpay. Do buy, but don't overpay. That's why I say disregard the guff. Read into the numbers and look, and it's buried. The bad news is buried in the small print, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Property Press Awards.
They may or may not be telling the truth, but you should form your own view. Get out and view, get out and view, get out and view. You cannot be in a position to make offers and have no offers accepted if you're not viewing. Just be out there viewing. Pay attention to the back of the class. If you've not been watching my videos, I did one just a couple of days ago. Disregard the guff, guys. Hello everybody, welcome to another video on Moving Home with Charlie. With me, I'm Charlie Lambdin, and in today's video, I have found a way that I'm hoping is going to illustrate to you the size and effect of the house price reporting time lag using data that you can verify yourself. It's all linked to below, to show you why I think that right now, late September 2023, the gap between what the land registry is reporting on average house prices in England, not the whole of the UK, just England, is £42,000 approximately higher than prices being agreed in the front line of estate agent offices today in September 2023 in the autumn market. Okay, so I'll do my best to make this quick because I don't want to persuade you with anything other than actual stuff you can use yourself. If you're someone that doesn't want to believe house prices are falling much more steeply than anyone is reporting, don't watch this video, okay? If you are a cynic who's curious to know if I'm right, then watch this, put a pin in it, and come back and watch this video in May 2024, 8 months from now, next year, when the land registry's report in May 2024, which will be for March land registry completions, March 24. So in March 24, will be roughly 5 months from now, which is when the deals being agreed today that don't fall through will complete and get registered at the land registry. So let me show you what I mean. So follow along with me. Let me just share the right page. Oh, I thought I had it ready and I don't. Here we go. So this is the link below to the, if you just Google ONS Gov house price, you'll come to this page. And the reason I wanted to show you this page first is, again, I really want to be clear about, that's not the thing I need. Hang on a second. There we go. I really want to be clear about the timings here. So we are in September, and as you can see on here, this was released in September 2023, just a week ago, okay? So in September, house price completions for July were reported, okay? So that's already a 2-month lag there. And in July, that's when the completions were registered with the land registry. And completions are taking on average 5 months from when a deal is agreed to when it completes. Many are faster than that, many are slower than that, but the average, which is all we can go on, is 5 months. Now, 5 months before July this year was February this year. So what I'm trying to show in this video is that the difference in how average house prices in England between February 2023 that were being agreed then and prices being agreed today. So if you are a house buyer or a seller trying to type a deal today, you are at the front line of the market today, is roughly a 14% drop in those 7 months. Okay, let me continue. Stick with me. So here I've got the graph that's on the link below on the land registry or the ONS house price report issued in September for July. What you can see here is that England, which is the top line, I've got lots to say about this peak at the top and the trough and the bit back up again recently. So in July 23, the average transaction price registered with the Land Registry was £308,633. Can you see that there? Hopefully you can see that there. So that's where we are as far as the ONS is concerned. Now, I want to show you the BestAgent data. And let me get it larger on the screen for you to really make this point. So what we have here, and you can see this is bestagent.news. Just go there yourself and click on England, right? You can see it yourself. It's there right now today. If you're looking at this video later, those figures will have changed. But if you're looking at it today, 23rd of September, these are the figures you'll see. Now, what BestAgent does is it goes out and it searches for all publicly listed properties, homes, specifically homes, for sale or to let, and it records the status, whether they're showing as for sale or under offer. And we separate out those two statuses into the two lines you see below. The for sale, which is the unsold stuff, the stuff that's sitting on the market not accepting any offers, is the lower line of the two, this line here, right? And you can see that there's 383,000 of those as at 23rd of September, with a median asking price of 335 and an average asking price of 481. That's the unsold stuff. And I think that is irrelevant, right? And that, by the way, those are the prices that everyone else uses in their indices about what's happening in the housing market. But if it's not selling, it's not relevant. The relevant data is what's selling, or at least what's having prices agreed on it. So this is right now, this is less than a week old, right? And what we're showing here is that there are 62,500 homes showing publicly as sale agreed or under offer or sold subject to contract, any of those three statuses, where the median price is £280,000, nearest damn it, right? That's the asking price. That's not the price that's been agreed, but those houses are showing as sold, and those are the published asking prices. And we'll come on to this in a second, right? We'll come to the average in a minute as well. But that too, so compare that with the Land Registry figure of 308,000. This is just England, okay? So we are comparing apples and apples. This is England, and the BestAgent data is just for England as well. I've got Wales as well separately. We can have a look at Wales in a minute. So 308 is the completed actual price in England, but 280,000 is today's published asking price of homes showing as sold. Now, if like me and most people, you understand and accept that in today's falling market, most sellers are accepting prices below asking price. Not all, but most, the majority. Then it's fair, I think, and makes sense to apply a small reduction to that figure to see what's actually being agreed today. Now, I think it's 10% below that, but let's just be much more conservative, much less extreme. And let's say it's just 5% below that. So that would be taking £14,000 off that, right? That brings it down to 14 grand off that, 280, 270, 266. All right. So 266,000 is the most likely median asking price or agreed price on average for England homes being sold today. Okay. So if this, and this is an approximation, this is not exact, right? It's the best we can do. If this is right, it means that we've got average England homes being sold at an agreed price of 266,000 today versus 308,000 in February. And that's £42,000 difference. All right. And that's where my £42,000 figure comes from. Now, so that's England. Let's just see, while we're here, I want to just have a bit of a comment about this graph. So if we take in this what I call this 8-month delay, so or 6 months from when it's published. We have a peak. Can you see that the house prices peaked in completion prices peaked in September 2022 at 311,000. And that was for deals agreed 5 months earlier, May, June, July, August, September, October, April, right? Even earlier. Sorry, I'm doing maths on the fly. June, July, August, September. That's 4 months. So it's May. Yeah, so in May, which is exactly what I called it, right? That was the top. So the peak of the market in terms of where prices were being agreed was May 2022. And then it came down a bit, right? And it got down to 301 in March this year. And then it crept up again in April and May and June. It crept up and up and up, and up to 308,000 in July. And if you apply that 5-month exchange to completion time, that's the dead cat bounce from the spring, okay, that we were seeing. The new year, slight increase in activity. Okay, so that's that. Now, does that make sense? I mean, this reflects what we saw, okay? It reflects what we saw. Let's now go and have a quick look at Wales prices. Okay, so what are we now? We've got Wales is showing the completion prices registered in July in Wales on land registry were £215,600. And on BestAgent for Wales, where are we? Here we are. We're showing a smaller gap here, right? So there we are. That's £210,000. You take 5% off that, or 11,000, that's down to £199,000. Okay, so 199,000 on BestAgent if you accept a 5% below asking price as an average. And I'm about to come on to what the problems there are with these assumptions, because there are definitely problems with the assumptions, quite a few, which I'll go through. But I still think that even taking those problems into account, you can see where I'm going with this. Okay, so that's well. You can see the numbers in Wales are much smaller numbers. Okay, just 1,100 homes showing as sale agreed, compared to 5,600. So you still got a 5-to-1 ratio in Wales of unsold to sold, compared to 6-to-1 in England. All right. So in England it's 6-to-1, which again means that the Wales market is not quite as much of a buyer's market as the England market is, which is why the price falls don't seem to be quite as big for Wales as they do for England. I'm jumping around it a lot here, but I hope this is starting to make some sense. Now, okay, what are the problems with my assumptions here? Because there definitely are some problems. Okay, biggest problem number one is that I've got, let's just go back to, let's go to, where are we? England, here we are. I've got 280 grand as the median sold asking price, and I've got 351 as the average. Well, the land registry says that it quotes averages. And in my mind, this proves the problem with the average figure, because that average asking price compared to the median asking price is higher than the land registry's figures, right? Land registry is showing 308,000. And we don't know exactly what the land registry calculation is. And also the other big problem is that the land registry, when it releases its most recent data, is currently only including about 10% of transactions, which means it's not including 90% of transactions. And once those are all included, it would almost certainly change the figures. We don't know which way, but whether that 10% is a representative sample of the whole market, excuse me, we don't know. So there's the median versus average problem, and that there is the land registry sample size of its most recent print problem. The third problem is we have no hard evidence on a nationwide basis of how far below asking price house sales are actually being agreed. I have anecdotal reports from within the industry are that they are 16% below. I think if it was me, I'd be saying on average it would be safe to say 10% below. For the purposes of this video, I've just assumed 5% below for that 42 grand figure. So if I'm right and it's 10% below, you can take another 14 grand, or you can add another 14 grand onto that 42 grand difference to make it 56,000 pounds difference. So I hope you're watching this in May 2024. And if you are, could you please comment below so that it pings me and let me know what the Land Registry's average England house price was reported. So it'll be reported in May. It'll be released in May. It'll be for March completions, and March completions will show roughly what prices are being agreed today when I'm recording this video. So I would like to know, is in May 2024, I would like to know, is the Land Registry's average house price on this graph down to the £266,000 I'm expecting it to be? And bear in mind, we are still only just over 1 year into the 3 years of house price falls I think we're going to have. So factor that in as well, okay? So this is not me saying this is how far house prices are going to fall. This is just an interesting snapshot to look at the time lag and try to get everyone to understand the effect of the time lag. Because right now, I think the time lag is basically on average for England. And of course, it'll be much higher in London. It'll be less outside London. It'll be much higher at higher price values. You know, if you're up at the £600,000, £700,000, you're talking about double, triple the average. You're going to be seeing much bigger falls up at that price than you are. And if you're down at the lower, well below average prices, prices beginning with a 1, there are going to be much smaller, in percentage terms, smaller drops. Remember that. There is no such thing as average, okay? Because the average in London, the average outside London is very, very different. So, but I'd like to know, please comment below if it's May 2024, what was the UK Land Registry average? Because I'll forget that I did this video, right? I will forget. And any of you, so hi, it's quite a lot of you in the live chat. Yeah, so the 14% drop out of 35%, that's not 14% since the high. That's 14% just since February this year. They've been falling for 9 months prior to that. Okay, so which is why I think we're already at around about 20% off the peak. At the front line, we are about 20% off peak prices. Robert Gill says, could be 16% below average today. If so, England owner stats in May 24 should be approx 300k. I don't understand how you get to that figure when they're only 308k for July. I don't know what your maths has done there. Forgive me. Yes, this is nominal, Chloe S. Do we have any other comments on this? Pie-May26 says, hi, Charlie, get what you're saying, but these asking prices are still ridiculous and the same as the beginning of the year. Where are you looking, Pie-May? Because I'm talking about national averages. And of course, that means that there are places where they'll be higher, places where they'll be lower. It's changing everywhere. Asking prices, yes, you're right. I agree that asking prices are ridiculous. Look, let's come back to this. Let's come back to this and just have a look at how ridiculous asking prices are. Okay? Asking prices in England on average, forget the average, right? Average is definitely ridiculous. Ridiculous. So many sellers in cloud cuckoo land. But even if you go to the median, which is lower, that is still way above. That is like at least 10% above. Well, actually, it's more like it's 10% above what was being agreed in February this year, 7 months ago. So yeah, asking prices are ridiculous because most sellers are in abject denial about what's happening to house prices. Why? Because of this time lag, right? Because of the time lag. Blue Phoenix says surveyors are down valuing. Yep, they are. Beefy B says the dip at the top of the graph is a typical bull trap. Correct. It was a dead cat bounce. I agree with that. Downhill after that. Yes, I agree. Cerberus the Defender says, nice to get to the facts, not the narrative. Cool. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. And again, guys, I'm not saying you should believe me here. I'm saying please factor this phenomenon into your thinking. ONS, yeah, the ONS does say average, but the ONS also, the land registry has funky stuff and weighting and seasonal adjustment in its figures that are impossible. They don't actually publish their exact calculation metric, as far as I know. Alex Groundwater, Housing Dig could prove me wrong on this. EMAC says a good agent will be realistic, but many sellers are not. This is a massive problem for good agents right now, because roughly 8 out of 10 agents are overvaluing. Some of them knowingly, deliberately, some of them naively overvaluing because they're they're behind the curve on what's happening. But the problem is that the most realistic agents, if you get 5 agents around to value your house, one of them is going to be good enough to value it accurately, and it's going to be the lowest of all the others because of the falling market, and the seller's just never going to choose the lowest valuation, which in this market is a mistake. Robert Gill, yeah, I know, I've got to compare apples with apples, but this is difficult because the BestAgent average and median is an unmolested calculation, an unmanipulated calculation. It is very, very simple. Average calculation, median calculation. The land registries isn't. And the proof of that, if you want it, is that the average asking price of sold properties is 40 grand higher. Is it 40 grand higher? 335. No, it's 27 grand higher. No, sorry, it's 350. Yeah, it's 43,000 pounds higher than land registry's published actual completion price. So clearly they're not using a normal average, or there's or the time lag in their reporting is affecting, or whatever. We just don't know. Yeah, John Evans, sorry. So doesn't the ONS do a bunch of adjustments? Yes, they do. Exactly that. And we don't. Do we have any other? Yeah, this is a very common question and it's worth repeating. Does downsizing mean cheaper regions won't see as much of a decline in prices? Correct. It does mean that. It also means that cheaper, smaller properties won't see as much of a decline in prices as larger properties on average. The Matt D show says, am I safe if house prices drop to your prediction? I don't know. I don't know whether you got a mortgage or not. I don't know whether you need to move or not. So I don't know your situation. I don't know when you bought. Excuse me. No, Rob Gill, sorry, you're saying ONS stats is average of land registry completed data. It's not a straight average. It's an adjusted average. This is what I'm trying to say. It's an adjusted average, and they don't publish what their adjustments or how they make them, to my knowledge, anyway. Alex might correct me on that, but it is not a straightforward average, and it's not the whole market either. So the BestAgent data is 100% of everything we can find. The land registry's most recent data is only about 10% sample size. So I don't, it's impossible that 10% sample will be exactly representative of the other 90%. So there is absolutely room for manipulation of those figures. Intentional or unintentional, there's room for manipulation in it. Jamie Boy 14 says, do I think people will just stay in their overpriced houses? Some will and wish that they hadn't, and will wish that they'd be more realistic and moved when they could have. Some don't have a choice and they can't stay there. If they've got to move. For example, the death, debt, and divorce, the 3 Ds. But the people who are open-minded and switched on and actually do their research to find out what's actually happening, they just want to move. So they will be more realistic and look for a realistic agent. Right. I've got very noisy machinery outside. I'm going to call that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please remember, if you're watching this in May 2024, shout in the comments, what did the Land Registry report March completion average for England? Not the whole of the UK, You have to scroll down and find the actual England price, but let me know. Thank you, guys. And if any of you need anything from me in any way of help, my website homepage, mhwc.co.uk. Check me out there, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.